You are watching Sundays with Omar. My name is Omar, and it's a pleasure to see you all. Thank you very much indeed. Whether you're watching this live or watching this at another time, I do hope that you are having a fantastic weekend, a very good Sunday. Hello to you, Judy, and to others who are filtering in. I want to say happy Sunday to you all. I hope that you're well, and I hope that all is going your way. Thank you very much indeed for that, for the hearts, for Judy, and for those of you also, in addition to Judy, who are hitting those hearts. Thank you very much for joining. I'm going to try to be, every time I say I'm going to try to be succinct. I usually fail, so maybe I should stop saying that. But I do want to thank you for spending part of your precious time, some of your precious time with yours truly. Time is everything, as I talk about a lot these days. And so it's important to really spend time with people that you really care about, who treat you well, who respect you, and people who you have joy, you feel joy around, you feel inspiration around, because we need a lot of that these days. And we can be the best examples of that inspiration. And we have to really consider who we're spending our time with. Okay. I mean, that's just something that I really I'm very serious on these days. So thank you for being here. I want to just go through a few things with you before I do exit stage left, and hello to you, Renee Howell. The giveaways that I do for paid subscribers is going to return. Those giveaways are going to return, I should say. It's bad English. Those giveaways will return next month. I'll be giving away a number of different prizes, as I often do, for paid subscribers only. So if you are not a paid subscriber, please become one to this forum. It'd be greatly appreciated. Paid subscribers get a lot of opportunities to win prizes, such as this book, which I spoke about previously, a few lives ago. This was the book that I talked about when I was having a conversation with you about consent and about Graham Plattner and about things that are obviously not consent, i.e., rape, and all kinds of other matters. This book by Christine Ember is a really important book for anyone to read, whether you're a woman, whether you're a man, no matter who you are. And she is the author. This sister right here is the author. I'm giving away one copy, maybe more than one copy, of this particular book, Rethinking Sex. That's one of the giveaways coming next month. Another of the giveaways coming next month is this book. Oh, yes, this is the book that had been really hard to get. If you are interested in this book and you are a paid subscriber, I will be giving away a copy of this as well. I know there are a lot of people who say, oh, you know what, I'm living this. I don't need to read a book on it. But there's lots of people who would love to read this book. And this is a number one New York Times bestseller, if that means anything to you. It certainly means something to the two authors here, Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swan. But this is another book I'm giving away for paid subscribers beginning next month as I return to the giveaways after a few weeks away from the giveaways for paid subscribers. So if you're a paid subscriber, you have an opportunity to win this next month. And there's so many other books and things I'm giving away, including Vice President Harris's book, 107 Days. Still got some copies of that to give away. I'm also giving away Nobody's Girl by Virginia Roberts Giuffre. I'm giving away a number of other books. I'm giving away vinyl records. I'm giving away apparel, Knicks apparel, championship hats, championship T-shirts. Even if you're not a Knicks fan, you're a paid subscriber. Those are the giveaways and much, much more coming down the line. Hello, Judy again. She says community. Yeah, community is very important. Raquel Bernada, thank you for your support, Raquel. Really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Nice to see you on a Sunday. Thank you for making your precious time, spending some of your precious time here. And I do value everyone's time. I really do, which means I have a doubly and a more important responsibility to try to keep things brief as best I can. Good morning, Carol Phipps. Hello to you as well. So I wanted to start with that. Those are the part of the giveaways you can expect if you're a paid subscriber here, beginning next month. Good morning, Omar. I want one, please, says Raquel. Raquel, as a paid subscriber, certainly you have a chance. Your name will go into a hat. This is how it works for paid subscribers. Your name will go into a hat, and at random, I will pick out the name of a paid subscriber. And this will be one of the giveaways, as I said, next month, as will this very important book as well. And I've got Nick's apparel I'm giving away. I should have brought the t-shirts over here. I'll do that next time around. I've got t-shirts, I've got hats. I'm looking at a hat in the distance over there. championship hat, and I've got a number of other goodies as well. Again, if you're a pay subscriber, you have a chance to win one of those, but you must be a pay subscriber. Michael says hello. Good morning, Renee Howell. It's great to see you. Thank you very much indeed. So, two things I really want to get to today. And of course, it is World Cup final day as well. For those of you who are interested in that, Spain versus Argentina, I'll be back here after that game is over to do my recap and to read out your comments and your thoughts as well. Carol says, good morning, can't stay, just saying hi. I'll watch the recording later. Carol, thank you for that. The fact that you even made the time just to say that you can't stay, that tells me about the kind of person you are. And I really appreciate that. You didn't even have to do that, Carol, but thank you. Says a lot about who you are as a person. Carol, have a good rest of your Sunday, and hopefully you get accomplished today what you would like to. And I'll see you later on. Thank you, Carol. And Chica Sheila Sikhosa has said hello. Thank you, Chica, for saying hello, Chica. I want to get to a couple of things. And by the way, one of the things I was going to also ask you about is where would you rate your mental health? You don't have to tell me if on a scale of 1 to 10, or even if you didn't want to do it by number, um, where would you rate your mental health? And again, you don't have to say anything in the chat. Just give yourself, you can think about it. Mental health is really important. So do something today that's going to elevate your mental health, whether it's taking a walk if you're able to take a walk, whether it's buying some flowers if you're able to do that, whether it's being out in nature, if there's a park near you, walk by some greenery. If you're living not far from a beach, make sure you can get to a beach and walk by the shore and look at the water. I mean, early morning walks are really good if you can do those. Exercising in any kind, whether it's meditation, whether it's yoga, whether it's Bikram yoga. So mental health is very important as well. So I just want to also say that. Now, there's two things I want to talk about. One of them is the following. Last week, we know that Donald Trump gave a speech around voting, which was completely, surprise, surprise, fictitious, complete lies, debunked claims and conspiracy theories. We all know that, right? That's a given. One of the things that's very clear as a given is that this guy's going to do anything to make sure he does not get impeached again. And he's going to do everything to make sure that he doesn't get impeached and removed. And so he's got Republican senators who are not a fan of his now, who are beginning to finally stand up to him, some of them at least. They will not vote for the Save America Act, which is one example of this. And so he will do anything now. He doesn't care about voting one way or the other. He just cares about himself. And so he will do anything to make sure that he doesn't get impeached. So that means he's going to do what he's going to do to try to do things with the elections. The Supreme Court's ruled against him even on this. Federal courts have ruled against him. And so he's trying everything, like a criminal would do, to try to steal this election. Now he's going to give a speech and all this other nonsense. Look, here's something that I was saying in a recording of the Politicrat podcast that I have not yet released yet again. But I'll say it here now. Just to remind everybody, the United States Constitution has Article 1, Section 1, I believe it is, Clause 1. Or it could be Article 1, Section 4, Clause 1. It's called the Elections Clause. And the Elections Clause, just to get right to the point, is very, very strict. And it says that elections are held by states. And that if there is to be any amendment to that, Congress is the only body that can make an amendment to that particular statement in terms of states controlling their elections. So Donald Trump is literally fighting against, surprise, surprise, the United States Constitution. And the federal courts so far have adhered to the US Constitution when it comes to voting, when it comes to which of the entities of government controls that. The federal government does not control voting. And Donald Trump is trying very hard to circumvent that at the moment. We all know this. We know that even people who work with him have not supported any of the lies that he has put out there. John Ratcliffe, the CIA head, who was actually the director of national intelligence in 2020, made it very, very clear in a post on X this Thursday that he didn't say anything that there was any chicanery. He didn't back up anything Donald Trump said. And John Solomon, who is a right-wing wackadoodle, was on all these shows on Thursday night, as you may have seen him. And as you know by now, when Vaughn Hilliard of NBC News had asked him about Venezuela and all these other things, he said, no, Venezuela hasn't tampered with anything. There's no evidence that China's done anything. That's not happened. So look, the bottom line is that this stuff is all ridiculous. And what I would ask you to do is not to panic. Because when you have facts and information, you tend to panic less. When you know the history of the country that you're living in, you tend to panic less. What our job is to do is to get out there and vote. What our job is to do, our job is to register people to vote, is to check our voter registration. Do that at least twice a month. Okay? Please do that. Also, our job is to have a plan to vote. Right now, in this middle of July, we're now in the back half of July. We should be formulating plans right now about how we're going to be voting in November in terms of the logistics of how we're voting. In other words, getting people to the polls. If you have a friend who has disabilities, who cannot get to the polls, are you going to have some transportation for them? Can you arrange for that? These things are really, really important, folks. And I think we're spending our energy on a lot of things that, while they may be important in the interim, are not as important as mobilizing and educating and motivating and energizing people to vote. And so this is something that we need to really have a 2, 3, 4 month plan developed in advance, not just for 2026, but beyond. But we need to focus on the midterms now. And I would really resist these calls to panic. I've heard people on this platform and on other platforms talking about, I'm very concerned, I'm very concerned, I'm very. Listen, it's not that you shouldn't care about this matter, but this is how we respond to all of this. We do our job. We still have that power to vote in this country. Try as the Republicans might to eradicate that. Try as the trolls and the bots might to eradicate this. We have the power to vote. And see people panicking. Why? Why are you panicking? There's no reason for you to panic. There really isn't. And there's no reason for you to impersonate Senator Susan Collins either. I'm concerned. I'm concerned. All of this panic doesn't do anything for you. It actually creates more panic and more fear. So what I propose, and good morning to you, Luis Gonzalez. Thank you very much for joining. Luis, it's great to see you. Thank you. Good morning to you, Luis. I hope you're having a good morning. What I propose is that we just do our jobs. And I propose that we check our voter registration at least twice a month, that we educate ourselves on voting now, that we have a plan to vote, that we absolutely keep our ears to the ground on our local politics, and also that we are very, very clear about which state has early voting, which states have mail-in voting. Mail-in voting, as I think Michael pointed out earlier, is very important. And Michael's quite right. Urge mail-in voting. It's very important. And the thing is that it's so important for us to stay focused. I know about Todd Blanche. Okay, yeah, would I like him not to be confirmed? Of course I don't want him confirmed. Would I like these Epstein files to be released? Yeah. There's 3 million pieces of information that need to be released. They're not, right? But the bottom line is, folks, the thing that really matters when all is said and done, folks, is you and I voting. And we have to be locked into that right here in July. We cannot wait. We can't wait till October. We can't wait till November. We've got to be in the voting mindset now. We have to be in the recruiting mindset now. If you know anybody at all, who did not vote in 2024, right now, you need to be having conversations with them. And you also need to be listening to them too, because it's not a one-way street, unlike here where I'm talking to you. It's not a one-way street with your friends and the people you really love and care about, family members, who you it's not that you should be doing this 100% of the time. But what it is that you should be doing is initiating, if I can say that properly, initiating a dialogue with your friends and family, whom you know didn't vote. Everybody on this chat, I guarantee, has at least one person they know in their family, in their friend circle, someone at work, someone they know well, who did not vote in 2024. Maybe someone in this chat didn't vote in 2024 for whatever reason. I'm not here to relitigate why you didn't vote and what your reasons were and all of that. I'm here now in 2026, sent from 2024, back from the future, back to the future, to tell you all and to remind you all that your vote is precious and priceless. And you wouldn't have Donald Trump doing all this craziness now if your vote was not something that mattered, and if your vote was something that didn't count. Your vote absolutely counts. Your vote absolutely matters. It really does. What is required of us is to educate, to learn, to activate. We have to have that mindset now. I really believe that. I know this is summer and we're going to get to August. It's going to be the so-called dog days of summer. We have to keep our eye on the ball and we have to stay focused. And that ball is voting. It's voting. It's just something that you have to do. And so I'm just really, really impressing that on everybody. Okay. It's very, very important. No one should panic. No one should be concerned. I'm not saying I'm not saying turn your eyes away and not listen to things that are actual news, real news, and not people just saying things. But what I am saying is that you've got lots of power. You have more power than you realize. Okay. So I just want to remind you, please, please check your voter registration. I don't care if you live in California, in New York, or in Massachusetts, or in Texas, or Florida, or Georgia, or Mississippi, or Arizona, or Montana, or South Dakota, or Washington State, or Oregon. I don't care where you live in these 50 states, Hawaii, Alaska, I don't care where you live. I want you to be checking your voter registration at least twice a month. And what I really am not a fan of is all this spreading fear and panic and concern. I'm concerned. We've got to stop being concerned. We have to get activated. Stop being concerned and start getting activated. Use your resources. You know, you and I have lots of resources, and some of us don't know or aren't aware that they're there, or we simply don't use them, right? Here's one resource: your internet, where you can search for your Secretary of State. You can search for your local state elected officials. You can search for your local elections board who runs your elections, perhaps in your county, right? Your board of elections, your town board of elections. You have all this power, and I want you to use it. I'm not trying to be patronizing. I'm just saying you need to use your power that you've got. You need to also join organizations if you can, right? They're local Democratic parties, they're local organizations. If you don't want to be part of the local Democratic Party, well, there's lots of other organizations, voting organizations. There's lots of local organizations and lots of places where you can join town halls online or in person. Lots of them. Think about an organization you really care about that moves the needle forward on voting or any other issue in politics that you really care about dearly, and join that organization. Please, please do. It's so very important that you do. These things are critical, and I really want you to make sure that you avail yourself of community. Judy talked about this earlier. Community is really important. And hello to you, ST. ST, thank you for joining us. Community is very important. And so if you're living alone, or if you're living, whether you're living alone, if you're living alone, or if you're living with family members, or living with your significant other, or whomever, right? Your spouse, whomever, it's just important to have a sense of community. So you may be, as many people say, a blue dot in a so called red state. But even if you are in that predicament, in that situation, there are lots of organizations and lots of people you can join up with online or offline and have community with, and like minded people in your neighborhood or in your town or online, where you can arrange to meet with people. As very, very important in 2026 to have that. One of the things that happened in 2020 with COVID is that it really did decimate that sense of community in a number of places across the country. There was naturally, since you were not able to go outside, right? You were confined, most of us, the vast majority, were confined to inside interior spaces, which meant that we couldn't meet people, we couldn't connect except online. And it was tough. It was really difficult for many of us, you know. And now that we don't have COVID to worry about anymore, we have, of course, this stomach thing that we have to deal with, but the lettuce thing. But now that we don't have COVID to worry about anymore, community is more important than ever. And I think that we are, in some cases, slowly but surely returning to that. But in other cases, with the technology that we've got, we are becoming ever more isolated and ever more narrowed, if you will. But please develop a sense of community in your neighborhood, like minded people from afar, join them, issues that you care about, whatever it might be women's reproductive rights, abortion rights, whether it's LGBTQIA plus rights, whether it's rights for black people, criminal justice reforms, whether it's whatever it might be, voting rights, whatever it might be, right? Um, and criminal justice rights applies to everyone. It's not only black people, because again, you've got lots of white people who are incarcerated, and some of them are incarcerated unjustly too. You've got white people who also get sent to the death chair, the death penalty. New York Times did a long story about this last week in its magazine, talking about Florida continuing to execute people. There are some white people affected by that. You know, so again, this is very, very important. That's where we need to be. We need to be engaging in local politics. And I mean by that, talking to our elected officials, communicating with them, demanding things of them, letting them know that we are here, finding out what's going on in our communities. That's the kind of level of awareness that we need now, so that we now can have a mindset where we go into November really raring to go, not just turning on a switch in November to start voting, but to have that engagement and that mindset, that mentality as we get into late July, into August, into September and October and November, so that you can spend the next 2 or 3 months motivating people who you personally know did not vote in 2024. We all have something that we can do. And good morning, Stacy from California. It's always a pleasure to see you. Thank you very much, Stacy, for making your time and deciding to spend a little bit of it with yours truly. Thank you very much indeed, Stacy. Good morning to you. Linda Kramer has also said hello. Hello, Linda, Thank you for joining us. You joined us. Thank you for that. So I just wanted to say those things to start off with, because I think it's very, very important that we really do activate ourselves. And what I see a lot of times online, and I try to spend less time online. I think that's another thing. We look, sometimes online is the only community that many people have. I completely understand that. But I also think it's very important not to spend your whole day online. I think it's very important. Some people have no choice, and that's the only thing that they really can do to connect and feel like they're part of something. So I'm not begrudging that at all. All I'm saying is that it is really helpful for your mental health when you get offline, and it's really good for your mental health not to be online all the time. I don't know how much time you may spend online any given day, but I try to spend, I listen to Don Lemon, I try to spend anywhere from 1 to 2 hours max, not all at once, but during a day, um, online. And if I'm going to spend time online uh, in one block, apart from what I'm doing right now, which I've already got close to the half hour mark, I try to keep it to an hour and a half if I can. Sometimes I fail miserably on that. But the reason I'm saying that is because I want you, dear listener and dear viewer, to keep your mind active. And I don't want your mind to be held captive by me for that matter, or anyone else. I want you to activate your mind, right? I mean, I know you probably read books. I know you probably engage with people that you know and care about. I'm sure if you're able to take walks, you speak to people, you dialogue, you write, but I want you to get out of this box here that you're watching me on, and I want you to spend more time doing things that bring you joy, as I said at the beginning. Whether it's writing, whether it's creating, painting, whether it's going to a museum exhibit or a play or some sporting event. The World Cup, as I said, is on later on, or whatever it is. Going out with a friend for dinner, going to a movie. I just saw the Invite last week. In fact, I saw it again, and my review of it is kind of, it's a pretty decent film, um, and quite entertaining at times. But whatever it is that people are watching the Odyssey, I'm sure, all weekend long. But whatever it is that gives you joy and happiness, putting on music, doing a little dancing, going for dancing lessons. Please, it makes a big, big difference. So I want to say that as well. Hello to you, Linda, and good morning, Dave from California. This is really important. And I think recreation. What do you like to do for recreation? Taking walks? Do you run? Whatever you do? These things keep you sharp, keep you focused, give you an outlet. What about buying flowers, as I said earlier? These are all good things for your mental health. So I just wanted to say that to you as well. And remember, you are not alone. You may feel like you're alone, and maybe you're living alone, or you don't have a big outlet for things. But I'm telling you, you are not alone out here. There are so many people in this world and in this country who feel the way you do about things and who want to do something about it. And bottom line is that we are far from helpless. And I really do want you to resist the people who tell you, oh my gosh, I'm so concerned. I really want you to resist that kind of talk because, again, and I'm saying this for a really specific reason. We had these same kinds of, oh, I'm concerned people in 2024. We had these, oh, I'm concerned people in 2020. We had these, oh, I'm concerned people in 2016. And every time there is a very big or significant election, usually a presidential election in this country, there's always this, oh my gosh, I'm worried, I'm concerned. Look, you have a right to your feelings. I'm not saying that you don't. But what I am saying is that all this kind of chatter, chatter, chatter about concern, about this always happens in these big elections. And I think it's very deliberate. I really do, right? So, look, the bottom line is that we've got to focus on what we can do instead of what we are fearing or what we may be worried about or what we may be concerned about. We've got to do the things that I think will get us over the finish line. And one of them is voting, registering people to vote, getting out there, doing phone banks. If you want to spend your energy on helping a candidate that you like, that's a great way to have a sense of community, connecting to voters. Now, some of those voters may not be very nice on the phone, some of them, and some of them may be very nice on the phone. But if you like to phone bank or text bank, that's something that you can do from the comfort of your own home. Nothing wrong with that. We've got all these options out here. If there's a candidate that you care about that you're like, yeah, you know what? I like this person. I believe in what this person is talking about. I think they're for real. I like this person. I like that person. Their policies are exactly the kinds of things that I want to see enacted. Bingo. Join a phone bank. I mean, you can do that. Jason talked about he likes to play and draw. Guitar and play guitar and draw. That's really all I can do. I actually practice nine-ball pool and throw darts. These activities help me digest. Yes, this is what I am saying. Exactly, Jason. Thank you for that. This is exactly what I'm saying. You've got to have some activity in your life that gives you joy. And good morning to you, Annabelle. Thank you for joining us. You have to have activities that give you something. Because if you're focused constantly on what you're seeing on this platform, and that's one of the reasons why I don't do this flat platform every day, or A, because I'm busy, and B, because mental health is really important. So you really do have to focus on your mental health, and you also have to, when you can and when you have the time to, register people to vote. I really think that's important. Or get on your Substacks and post a message reminding people to look at their voter registration and check it every, couple, two times a month at least. That's a simple thing that you can do that doesn't cost you anything. As long as you've got a Substack account or any other kind of social media account, you have an opportunity to communicate something. And it's easy for us, and I've done it too, to fall into the trap of, attacking this and attacking that and being pissed off at this and that. And Lord knows I am one of the worst offenders for it. We also have to propose solutions. That is so much more important. We all know what the issues are. We all know what the problems are. We all know what the issues and the pitfalls can be. But we've got to tap into solutions oriented thinking. Because one of the things that I do not like is, for clickbait purposes, people will put up some headline about whatever it might be. And it's all clickbait. It is. It's designed to get you to turn on to someone's Substack live and sit there. And you may learn something and you may not learn something. I'm not saying that you won't learn anything, but what I am saying is that we really have to be more proactive. And we have the ability to do that. And I just want you to remember that you've got more power than you think you have. And I want you to stay focused and believe that we can get this done, because I believe that we are going to get this done. So next time you see the chats, and you will, someone will say, oh my goodness, I'm really worried, I'm concerned, I'm this and I'm that. And again, you can have your feelings, you have every right to your feelings. But I think sometimes some of the people who do this may be wanting to spread more concern and confusion and fear and panic. And there's lots of bots and trolls, and there's lots of these things, troll farms and bot farms. This is a big election year, and you cannot discount those things. I'm not trying to be any kind of conspiracy theorist. I hate conspiracies. I really do. So I'm just saying that we have, yeah, vote.org, I think, is trustworthy. There's also iwillvote.com, Annabelle. That one's very good. iwillvote.com. That's a trustworthy site, for sure, right? There's vote.org. I think that's a good site as well. I think it is trustworthy. Yes, I would say it is, Annabelle. iwillvote.com is definitely trustworthy. I can definitely say that. Okie dokie, says Annabelle. Yes. So please, folks, you've got resources out here. And every time you see someone in the chat saying to you, "Oh, I'm worried, I'm concerned," go ahead and put out uh, iwillvote.com and tell them, please check this website out. There's a lot of answers to questions on there. This will help you feel less concerned. I mean, maybe it may not help that individual person perhaps feel less concerned, but we have to talk a language of positivity, is what my whole point is here. And Jason's talking about Dark Passage. Yep, Dark Passage was shown on TCM last night, by the way. That's a great film, and it is set here in San Francisco as well. Uh, the first half hour of that film, I love the way it unfolds. But Jason, thank you for that. Pauline, hello to you. But I really want us to focus more on a positive language, on a positive mindset. Yeah, Dark Passage was shot in San Francisco. Certainly, the first half hour, of that film, I think, is tremendous, Jason. And it was shot here in San Francisco. Um, I just want to say to people again, we need to have a positive mindset. And I get it; it's easy to kind of feel like all is lost, but that's because the corporate news media that you may be listening to, or hopefully not, but you may be listening to, is putting that out there. Sometimes some of the people that you listen to on Substack are putting that out there too, right? But I'm not here for clicks and retweets and reposts. I mean, is it nice? Would I like to have people subscribe to me? Yeah, I ask for it all the time for you to subscribe. But I'm not doing this to get clickbait. Nuh-uh, uh-uh. I'm here to tell you what you don't necessarily want to hear, what you must hear, rather than what you like to hear or what you're comfortable hearing. So this is something that's really important. There are people on Substack who are genuinely good and credible news sources, like a Joy Reid, like a Don Lemon, for example. There are others. I'm just mentioning those two, right? Those are the two people that come to the top of my head. That doesn't mean they're not others. But my whole thing is that it's really important for us to have a positive language. There's some people on this platform who are not positive or who act like they are, but you're like, but what are you doing? What are you doing? And then there's stuff that just doesn't smell kosher, if you will. Pardon my French there. Um, Dave writes, I've learned to delete many Substack notifications, but now that's a new rabbit hole. Spending too much time deleting notifications. Dave from California, thank you very much for that. Um, as I've said a lot here, Dave, spending time is really important. I think every one of us here watching this or listening to it knows that. And as I've preached a lot lately, time is really important. Who you spend it with and how you spend it are critically important. I don't care how old or young a person is. I mean, for younger people, perhaps it's probably a little less of an issue. But for the older heads in the building, like yours truly, I really do value time. And some people don't like how strict I am on time. I mean, I do offer grace with people, and obviously, if you're running late on something, that's different. Or if there's some real reason why you're, but as I've said before in an essay I wrote, excuse me, several weeks ago on this platform, um, people who just waste your time and just BS you, not not somebody or not someone or not people that I'm going to ever be dealing with. And you just have to navigate time the way you have to, Dave. I know what you're saying about the deleting things, but yeah, I've had to stop watching Substacks, deleting stuff because it's not really serving a purpose of moving us forward. It's serving a purpose of us staying entertained, which is fine to a degree, but not necessarily really informed. And what we're doing sometimes on these Substacks is doing a lot of entertaining and a lot of gossiping, but not a lot of solutions oriented things. And what I like to do and what I try to do as often as I can here is to offer solutions and actually give sources of information that you can use and actually activate something with. They're great voting organizations like Black Voters Matter, and please donate to them at Black Voters Matter Fund, Fund, Black Voters Matter Fund.org. They do fantastic work year round: voter education, voter participation, voter mobilization, voter motivation. All these things are really important. You've got lots of other organizations. You've got people like Mark Elias. You like Mark Elias and the great work he and his legal team are doing? Support him. Get involved in these efforts yourself. You know, participation is the key thing, right? Donations are nice. That's all great, but really, and as I said, I've just talked about places you can donate to, but nothing beats getting involved. Nothing does. Nothing does. So this is really, really important. Um, And I just want to just emphasize that. So that's one, right? That's the first of the two things, or the two and a half things that I wanted to talk about here on this Sundays with Omar. Welcome, everybody. Those of you watching live, thank you very much. Those of you who are watching this later, thank you very much. Please become a subscriber if you can, free or paid. I would value both approaches, either approach. I obviously like paid subscribers to do that, to do what they do, because they power things and keep things running, and they also have an opportunity to win really great prizes like these giveaways that I'm going to begin again, resume next month, like this book, Rethinking Sex, A Provocation by Christine Ember, or like this, the Regime Change book, which has been a bestseller for weeks now, a number one bestseller, excuse me, for weeks. So this a particular book is one of the giveaways that's coming up as well. All beginning again, resuming next month after a few weeks off from the giveaways, and so many more giveaways that I'm doing as well in the next few weeks as well. Gilda writes, love Mark Elias. He's doing great work. He certainly is. Thank you, Gilda Johnson. It's also the NAACP Defense Fund. They're doing great work as well. They don't necessarily get the same kind of spotlight all the time by the corporate news media, but the folks of the NAACP Legal Fund, Defense Fund, they're doing superb work as well. So I do want to just shout them out as well. And I really do appreciate that, the work that they do, and so many others who are fighting these battles legally. See, this is the thing that, again, I want to emphasize. While there may be people who are watching this, or people who watch this later, or people on Substack in general who are worried or concerned, again, and I'm not trying to trivialize, I'm just saying that we need to be empowered, not concerned. I'm not saying that you can't look at and be aware of what's going on, but we need to be empowered, not concerned. And remember, folks, that while you're hearing all this wild stuff going on in Washington, D.C., remember that there are organizations that are fighting back against all this nonsense. Whether it's Mark Elias and the great legal team he has, whether it's the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, whether it's any of these other groups out here who are all ACLU, whomever, they're all doing work, right? That pushing back against this. So you need to be aware of that. It's not like it's just us out here. There's a whole galaxy of people who are doing the kinds of things that need to be done. You've got Norm Eisen, and everybody knows who Norm Eisen is here. Who, excuse me, anybody who is a regular on Substack knows who Norm Eisen is, and he's part of a group. They all are doing this work. So please do not think that you need to be worried or panicking, right? And Norm Eisen is somebody who's part of the Contrarians. He's been an attorney for a long time. He's been fighting in the courts for a long time against all these shenanigans, right? He's a really good attorney who deals with these kinds of things, and whether it's fighting back against voting, against the erosion of voting rights. Norm Eisen, Eisen. He is on Substack. You can follow him. You can subscribe to him. And there's so many other people. There's so many other people. Katie Fang, has been fighting that good fight. So listen, please don't sit here and think that the world is coming to an end. And I really want to say to people one other thing before I turn to topic number two, is that, look, I know some of you may not like to hear this, but I have to say what I got to say here. We've been through much rougher times in this country than where we are right now. We have been in the United States in far, far worse times than we are now. Just ask Black people, ask our ancestors. We've gone through hell in this country, and we are still standing here. We're still here. And I want those people who are white in this audience who are watching this to really understand that and take stock in the fact that there are people here who are in a numerical so-called minority who have fought and prevailed. Some have died, a lot have died, but have died delivering freedom and have fought and prevailed and triumphed, and we are still here. So I don't want anybody here to be panicking. And I want the white viewer of this Substack not to be so concerned, because you have the power, especially as a numerical majority until 2045 here in this country, at least. You have the power, you really do, as a majority in the country currently. You as a white person have that power to really affect some change out here. You can do it. So when I see these people again, unless they're just these trolls, which many of them are, who come into these chats I'm really beginning to become adept at who's a troll in chats and who isn't. I'm really beginning to be very adept at that. But if you're a white person watching this, you're in the numerical majority in this country. You have to, if you're someone that really cares about the direction of this country and want to put it in a better trajectory, you have to get active. You have to start challenging your white neighbors, not just people who are white online, but your white neighbors and friends and family. Maybe some of you are, but maybe some of you are not. But you have to do that. You have the numerical power in this country. There's more of you than there are of the people in DC who are in power. Use your power. Use it. And don't just come out for one march because Indivisible says so, or no Kings rally because Indivisible says so. You've got to do this independently. You've got power, man. I mean, there's no need to be concerned, right? There's no need to do an imitation of Senator Susan Collins, right? Everybody mocks her for saying for her continuously saying she's concerned, and yet there's people in chats who are like, "Oh, I'm concerned," or people who do Substack lives who say, "I'm concerned." Like, you know what? Like I said earlier, stop being concerned and start being empowered. That's what I'm saying. Now, we can do this and we will do this. Have a plan to vote. Develop that plan now. If you have a car, have a plan. Develop a plan with people who are in your state. Okay, this is what I can do. This is where I can drive to. Da 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 da. Do you need help at the polls? What's it going to be like? When do you plan to vote? Are you going to do an early vote? Are you going to just do vote by mail? Are you going to vote on election day? Are you going to vote in souls to the polls? Can I help you? Blah 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 blah. Dude, these are the kinds of conversations we need to be having now. You need to be having that kind of conversation because turnout is everything, folks. And if you don't turn out, you ain't winning jack. So let's do this and let's start thinking about this and doing it now ahead of time. You've got all these people planning things. Why don't we plan? We must. Karen, hello to you. Karen C., the book collector. Hope you're doing well on this Sunday. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about around voting and empowering ourselves to have more confidence and belief in ourselves. We may not like the system. We may have our views, obviously, about this wretched system, but we have to have belief and confidence in us. We have to believe in ourselves. You have to believe in yourself. And you can do this. Of course, we all have doubts. Of course, we do think about things that might be scary, but we've got power, man. We've got it. We've got to use it. And the vote is our power. And I get it. People say voting is not the only thing. I get that it's not the only thing, but we've got to damn well do it, right? I kind of, again, I bristle. Again, you got to excuse me here. I do bristle at some of the verbiage that we use and the phraseology that we use. I'm really a kind of a serious studier of etymology and words and the kinds of refrains we use in the English language. And I think how some of it can be quite good and how some of it can be rather pathetic. And we've got to stop using these stupid phrases. We've got to start being more positive and believing. Let's use empowering language. We will get this done. What are you doing? I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Why can't that be a focus of our chats? Like, why can't we say in our chats, here's what I'm doing. I've done this. What have you done? Why don't we empower each other and challenge each other? That's what I'm talking about. We have to start empowering each other and challenging each other instead of the usual stuff that we all talk about. Again, I'm guilty of this as well, by the way. This is not, again, anything I'm talking about includes me and what I've done or not done. So again, I don't want anyone to think, oh, he's just talking and he thinks he's the bee's knees. Listen, it's not about all that. I believe in myself and I love myself. I like myself. That's not the issue with this. The issue is that we need to start using more affirming and more proactive language. And we need to start challenging each other and we need to start planning now for what November is going to be for us. We have this in our hands. I don't care what that orange thing is doing at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I really don't. The question is, what are we going to do? Because quite frankly, many of us, dear listener and dear viewer, in 2024, I would say a lot of us were complicit with the fate that we suffered in this country. And the 90 million people, 90 million people that stayed at home, they're just as much to blame as the, 76 or 77 million who voted for him. And this is the thing that's really important. We have to start supporting each other and fortifying each other and challenging each other, because community also involves that too. Community doesn't mean that we should all panic and all be nervous and all be scared. No, 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 no. Community means that we put our arms around each other. Community means that we actually uplift each other. And community to me also means that we have to challenge each other and say, hey, look, I did this weekend. Here's what I've done. Da, da, da. Why not? Why don't we speak like that? Why don't we empower and encourage people instead of just all of us talking? Again, you won't like this, like a bunch of nervous Nellies about what this one did and what the other one did. And oh my God, this is terrible. And we all do that. I'm very guilty of that. I'm not saying it, sitting here and I'm saying I'm not. But we all need to be challenging ourselves to use the kind of positive and empowering language and doing positive and empowering things, the deeds that we do. We need to do those. And we need to encourage each other to do those things. Learner Curious writes, oh, my point well given and taken, not enough backing each other. Yeah. Learner Curious, yeah, not enough backing of each other. We need to start doing that. And we need to challenge each other. We need to do that. We need to. Everyone's talking Epstein files. Again, I'm not saying those things shouldn't be talked about. But the thing that we really should be talking about is, okay, what's your plan to vote? We should be talking about voting. We should be talking about, hey, I've just spoken to people in my neighborhood or people I know, and I've developed a plan to vote. And here's what I did. Or here's something that, I recommend that you do, for example. That's what we need to be doing now, right now, not in September, not in October, not in November. We need to be starting this now in July. And it doesn't mean that you have to do a big, long session on it. It just means that you spend 15 minutes, 20 minutes at most making a phone call to someone or to several people and talking about, are you voting this November? Please, you must. It's important. Listen to them and then talk to them and then recommend a plan. Maybe it's a family member that you haven't spoken to or a family member that you have. And you want to say to them, hey, maybe you live in Georgia and I know I can't pass out water to you on a line. But if there's early voting in Georgia, please be a part of it. How are you going to get to the polls? Can I drive you there? If I'm in Georgia, can I drive you to a poll station in Georgia? I mean, I'm telling you, man. See, black people know what time it is. Our asses are going to vote. I mean, even though there's been a low participation rate in some southern states for black people, and we need to get that up, that is something that I think, are going to definitely do this election. But, folks, none of this sitting around and looking as if the world is not going to come to an end, mate. It's going to keep spinning long, long, long after you and I are gone. I mean, it's going to. The question becomes, how are we going to direct the fate of the country? Are we going to sit here and just sit here like nervous Nellies, or are we going to start activating our asses and getting things done? Because all of this, including me, listen to me saying it, all of this is cheap. What we strategize and what we do are not. Hey, Omar, says Victoria Spalding Burford. Hey, Victoria. Oh, isn't it? I'm so happy to see you here. Thank you for making some time, Victoria, on Sundays with Omar. We've crossed at the 55th minute mark. Of course, the World Cup final is coming up later. I'll be coming back on the Substack waves after the conclusion of Spain versus Argentina. And I'll be giving my thoughts and reflections on that cup final, that World Cup final. Of course, hopefully you'll be here as well to give yours, and I'll be reading those out. Mish Bitch has said hello. Hello to you. Whoop, whoop. says Victoria. And before I go on to the second and final topic, I do want to say, England, good job yesterday. Obviously, I'm happy that you won, but I'm really, not too excited about that because, by the way, England should have been in the final today. But look, I'll take third place, I suppose. But anyway, England, well done, 6-4 over France yesterday. And we'll see in 4 years' time whether England can finally have the World Cup come home after 64 years as opposed to whatever. Let's hope that we can do it next time. But Spain versus Argentina is today. Victoria asks, who are you going for, Omar? I'm going for Spain as far as I'm concerned. Listen, I know Spain is a colonizer. I know Argentina, Lord, has had its problems as well. Argentina, not someone I'm a fan of. Argentina played a very active role driving black people out of the country, out of Argentina. Go and look up the history, folks. Argentina, and like I said, Spain ain't no picnic either. But Argentina is racist as hell. And Argentinians, many of them, not all of them, of course, I don't know all of them, but many of them are racist as ass. And we've seen this over and over again. There's a brother, I forget the brother's name, who's on Instagram, who attends pretty much all these World Cup games. He's got billions of followers, like about 10 million followers on Instagram, whatever it is. And he was doing reporting from all these games, including one of Argentina's games. And some of these Argentina fans are telling him to go home, go back to where he came from, all this racist stuff, making monkey noises and telling him, I mean, these people are despicable. Milei is their president there, by the way. Milei, the same guy that, is just horrible and wretched and is a fascist, and Donald Trump kisses his ass and gave him, what, $40 billion? I mean, this country gave Argentina $40 billion of our taxpayer money. People forgot that already. People have already forgotten. That happened within the last year, okay? I think October, November of last year. So listen, um, Spain all the way. Viva España! I saw someone not far from here in San Francisco. I was walking down the street earlier before doing this live, and I saw someone a woman wearing a Spanish national team T-shirt, football shirt, jersey. And so I said to her, Viva España! And she said, Viva! So yeah, I have a Barcelona shirt somewhere. Maybe I'll wear that here. Barcelona, Spain's a lovely place to go. Lovely country. Been to south of Spain, been to north of Spain. Spain's lovely. So look, that's something that's really an issue. Many, if not most, writes Victoria, of them are racist in my experience, Omar. Victoria, I agree with you. Um, Many of them are. I think they are. Argentinians are racist as ass. I've experienced. Last night I've spoken to some of them. I've experienced some of these folks. So Victoria also agrees there. Annabelle, Spain hates Rump, so they get points from me. Yeah, they're not big fans of his. I agree with that, Annabelle. They definitely aren't. Yeah, Hitler. Yeah, no. What happened is Victoria with Argentina. They housed a lot of Nazis. They gave cover to lots of Nazis post World War II, including Joseph Mengele. He went there too. So the the Argentines gave cover to the Nazis. So yeah, that Argentina is not a place where I would go in. I would go nowhere near that place. And I don't care about all the Messi this and Messi that. Look, obviously a great player, but bottom line, folks, is that Argentina is racist as hell, and the history of Argentina. And again, Spain is no pin; they're colonizers too. But what I'm saying is, Spain right now, to me at least, and I know they have their economic problems. Spain's a nicer country than I think Argentina is. And Argentina is very clear. It does not like black. I mean, listen, the world doesn't like us as black people. They don't like us. Period. You know. But Argentina definitely doesn't like black people. Period. Full stop. They spent so long purging their country of black people. Again, go look up. Go look up. I'm not. Listen, folks. You can vet everything I'm saying, and everything I'm saying is grounded in facts. Facts. Long history of racism, writes Victoria. Correct. Correct. Dave from California. With Spain, Trump is not with Spain and is with Argentina. Thumbs up, he says. So I am rooting for Spain. Yeah, Dave, thank you. I'm glad that you are. So true. Jason says, I love Barcelona, Catalonia. Yes, the Catalunya. Great. That's the great Catalan area there, isn't it? Barcelona. And all that area is fantastic. Yes. Spain's a lovely country. Also, the south of Spain. If you've ever gone to Malaga, Malaga, please go there. It's a beautiful, beautiful town. Absolutely beautiful this time of year, especially. España, Madrid, obviously, is a little bit further up, but Malaga is terrific. Renee Howell says, yes, Spain. Absolutely. Absolutely. Alicante is nice, writes Jason. Yeah, these are lovely places that there. At least Spain hates Trump, writes Victoria. I have had great experiences in all parts of Spain, but not so much in Argentina personally. Yeah, yeah. Victoria's been and she's had the experiences that are not good in Argentina. Argentina is not the nicest country, man. It really isn't. Um, and plus, their economic situation is awful. They've got a corrupt, hideously corrupt and fascist president there on the so-called Board of Peace. Board of Peace. So, there we have that. Annabelle says, if Spain won it all, there's no way they would go to the White House for the trophy. There's no way. No, well, Spain would not come to the White House anyway, obviously for obvious reasons. Um, but would it be shocking if Argentina were to, would it be shocking to see Donald Trump with Javier Milei of Argentina, the president there, and have him and the team come to the White House? I wouldn't be shocked if that happened. Let's hope it doesn't happen, and let's hope that Spain makes sure it doesn't happen. But anyway, there we go. Annabelle, thank you. I want to know what happened to Haiti. Yeah. Oh my God, I can talk about Haiti for a long time, Lena Curious. The U.S. and its long history of Haiti, long history declaring war on Haiti in the 1800s or in the early 1900s, excuse me. All kinds of things. Lena Curious, that will be a separate show at some point. There's a great book I would recommend to you and anyone else watching on the Haitian Revolution. It's called The Black Jacobins. The Black Jacobins. Jacobins, as in Sam. The Black Jacobins by C.L.R. James. Please read that book. But yeah, I can get into that on another day. But thank you, Lena Curious. Malaga is beautiful. Yes, writes Victoria. Yeah, see, that's a wonderful place to go. Wonderful place to go. I don't know if it's true, Dave, if he is giving out the trophy. Dave asks us, Dave from California asks, isn't Trump giving out the trophy today? I don't know if that's true or not. Would it shock me if it were to be true that he did that? Wouldn't shock me. Wouldn't shock me at all. He loves to be the center of everything, like every true malignant narcissist does. Loves to make themselves the story, loves to make themselves the center of attention, loves to make themselves the talk of the town. And so, if you see him up there, and I know he'll probably will, maybe he will attend the final today, maybe he won't. I absolutely think that that is likely to happen. He did this, remember, at that very same stadium, MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, last year around this time, when Chelsea won what's called the Club World Cup, meaning the World Cup of the club teams from around the world. Chelsea from England, from West London, won that trophy last year. And the final was held at the very stadium, MetLife, in New Jersey, where it's going to be held in about, what, roughly 3 hours from now. And Trump was standing. Not only did he hand the trophy to them, the Chelsea football players from England, he stood in the middle of their trophy celebration. When they were lifting the trophy, Trump was standing in the middle of them. And I just hope that we don't get that kind of nonsense from him today. And I hope he isn't going to be there. But if he is going to be there, he needs to behave himself. He already messed up the Knicks. I mean, thankfully, the Knicks still won the NBA championship anyway. But I knew when he was there, and I was out in New York when that was going on, and I went to Game 4. But I knew that Game 3, when he was there, I knew they were going to lose, and of course they did. Everything he touches, we know, ETTD. Everything Trump touches dies. Rick Wilson wrote the very book on it, and Rick Wilson was absolutely correct about that. So look, that's really, really something there. If he does attend today, says Victoria, that pretty much guarantees Argentina will lose. Yeah, it probably would. Yeah, it would, Victoria. We'll see if he does. But I want to get to point number two of the day, and I will be back, as I said, for the World Cup final post-match. And I think he is Omar, says Dave from California, who says he thinks that Trump will attend. And probably, if he does attend, he probably will give out the trophy. But we'll see. Thank you very much indeed. Yes, Victoria writes, you were partying like a rock star in NYC during the playoffs, Omar. I saw you. Yes, you certainly did, Victoria. Thank you very much indeed. I had a whale of a time in New York City. Of course, I used to live in New York City for many years, but I had a whale of a time in New York visiting last month. It was absolutely brilliant to be there, and Victoria absolutely did share a lot of that joy with you and many others here on Substack. But I'm glad that you watched, Victoria. It's really great to see you, and thank you for watching and following and supporting. Your support is abiding, and I really appreciate that. And it was a great time in New York, and absolutely being at that game four. I posted video of it on Substack and on online and on to personal and to private paid subscribers, excuse me, and the Knicks merchandise. I probably have every piece of Knicks merchandise that there is. I probably have every commemorative edition of a Knicks championship win that can have. I've got loads of things. I'm giving away some of that stuff too. Not the commemorative special edition things. Um, I won't show that off bragging too much, but that's okay. Brag away. I'm not a fan of this false modesty at all. Um, but the bottom line is, folks, is that was a great time to be in New York. And then the night that they won on that Saturday, the 13th of June, which is just over a month ago now, it was tremendous. It was tremendous, and I've put that video out as well. I've written a whole thing about this too, being in New York last month. So thank you, Victoria. Yup, I was a bit jealous. Right, it's Victoria. Ah, listen, I understand that, but you don't have to be. But I hear you. I hear what you mean when you say that. Um, it was just fantastic. It was just, and I did some live broadcasts from there, especially on the night of when they won that on June the 13th, live in Brooklyn from the. I showed you all the scenes. You can go back to that live from just over a month ago. You can search for it. I showed you all the scenes in Brooklyn, New York, and Fort Greene, where people were just standing on top of buses. One guy took his belt off of his pants, took it off his pants, and took it out of his pants, and he was standing on top of the bus, transit bus in New York, and he pulled out his belt and started whipping the bus, whipping the roof of the bus while he and 30 other people were standing on the bus. I mean, literally, he had buses with people standing on them, sitting on them. It was just absolutely wild. Anyway, you understand. I'm a massive Knicks fan, and I'm just absolutely delighted. And I still, in some part of me, still can't believe they've won it yet. But they actually did win the bloody thing, so I'm very happy. NYC Pizza, Joe or John's? I say John's. Thank you, Jason Gale, for that. Um, but you had fun. But I had fun vicariously through you, writes Victoria. Thank you, Victoria. I'm glad you did. That's the thing, right? I mean, that's important. Spreading joy is important. And if you can't be at an event where something that you really love is happening and something great and positive is happening, then the next best thing, of course, is to live vicariously through someone experiencing it. And of course, had it not been for Substack and the technology in that way, then it would have been a lot more difficult for you to enjoy that. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you very much indeed. That's great. Um, I've got a full set of Golden State Warriors championship bobbleheads, writes Jason. Listen, this is great. That parade exudes joy. Exuded joy, writes Annabelle. It certainly did. I was at that parade too, and it was a fantastic parade. There's still lots of video about that I've taken. I've not really put a lot of the parade stuff on, but it was great to be high-fived by the Knicks head coach Mike Brown. It was just a fantastic Thursday, June 18th. I remember all the dates. June 18th, June 13th, the keys to the city ceremony, Mayor Mamdani giving out the keys to the city uh, to all the players. It was just fantastic. I remember that, right, Victoria. I was cracking up bananas. This is just a great thing. Felt like I was right there with you, right, Victoria. Thank you, Victoria. That was pretty wild, wasn't it, Victoria? The guy pulling his belt out of his pants and standing on top of the bus and whipping the roof of the bus with his belt. I've still got video of that. I might just post that again if Spain win tonight. I don't know. We'll see. Alicia Keys was at that ceremony. Quite right, Jason. You're absolutely right. Alicia Keys came on at the end of that ceremony. Did a little bit of the Empire State of Mind, of course, her great song. Played a little of that, and then she did a variation of also a Billy Joel's great song, which I love, called New York State of Mind, which many of you may know of from the great album Turnstiles from 1978, I think it was, or 76, I forget which. You're great with dates, Omar. Impressive. Thank you, Victoria. That's the one part of my brain that still works. To remember dates and all that kind of thing. Yeah, sometimes the memory doesn't work as well as you get older. These things happen. But Victoria, you won't have to worry about that, I'm sure, for quite some time. Victoria, thank you. And she adds, Alicia Keys is amazing. She ruled it. Yes, she did, Jason. She did a great job that day, as she does pretty much every day. She has a musical also in New York, by the way. I forget what it's called. I think it may have won a Tony a year or two ago. But she also directed or produced and wrote a musical that I think is still playing on Broadway in New York City. And if you haven't been to New York City, please get out there sometime, especially during these summer months. New York is just absolutely amazing. And there's so much to do and see and experience. And oh my God, any time of year, but especially in New York City. Yeah, right. I'm right there. Yeah, right. I'm right there with you in age, Omar. Victoria. Oh, Victoria, you're great fun. It's great to have you here. Thank you, Victoria. Oh, oh, but again, young. You're young, and listen, age is just a number, Victoria. You know this, right? Um, Spreading joy and spreading happiness. And I know it's not easy to do for many people because there's a lot of things that are challenging in the world to many of us. So it's not necessarily easy to radiate that. But if you can, do it. That's why I continue to celebrate the Knicks. Before I talk about point number two that I want to talk about, that's why I can continue to celebrate the Knicks. Not only because it's been 53 years between championships, but also we never know from a Knicks fan point of view when they're going to win again. It's not guaranteed that they're going to repeat in 2027. It's not no guarantee at all that that's going to happen. No guarantee that the Knicks are even going to get to the finals next season. No guarantee at all. We don't know that, right? So we'll see what happens. But this is why I'm celebrating this thing forever. Because and I walk around here in San Francisco with Knicks gear all the time. Um, because you have to celebrate positive things, whether large or small. You have to. And I don't care what it is in your life that you've accomplished, whether it's a big accomplishment or a small one, celebrate it. Celebrate it in the best way that you know how. Because no accomplishment that you have is too small. You got to celebrate the good things, positive things. I don't care what it is. Someone in your family just had a baby. Someone in your family just graduated. So you did something that put a smile on your face. Celebrate it, right? So please do that. Who doesn't love the Big Apple? Writes Victoria. Annabelle writes, yeah, exactly. Who doesn't? I met one person um, who this guy one time, just a conversation, just an acquaintance. It wasn't even just someone I just met on the street, and he was railing against New York. And I said, "What's New York done to you?" And he said, "Well," and he's just probably just grouchy about New York. But yeah, Victoria, I agree. Who doesn't love the Big Apple? Except for this one idiot. Who doesn't love the Big Apple? Annabelle writes, NYC got hit hard during COVID. They deserve this Knicks joy. Yes, Annabelle, they did. New York City did get hit very hard. That's so true. People have forgotten that about New York. But yeah, they deserve this Knicks joy. They certainly did. Annabelle, I agree with you 120%. They deserve this. And they worked their socks off. The fans have been starving. We've been starving as fans of the Knicks for decades. We've had so much heartbreak with our team. This was the year, and we got it done thanks to the great work of that team and to the people behind the team. The head coach, first year head coach of the Knicks, Mike Brown, needs to be given a lot more credit than he is getting. You've got the Leon Rose, the president of the Knicks, and of course, Worldwide Wes, William Wesley, did an excellent job. All these people need to be given their flowers and congratulated and really given the four-star treatment, which they I'm sure will get. They'll never have to buy a meal again in New York City. Never. They'll never have to buy another meal. OG Anunoby, being at Game 4 as I was to see that incredible comeback from down 29, you'll never have to buy another meal in this town, in New York, nor Jalen Brunson or any of the rest of the team. So anyway, there we go. Joanne Braithwaite has joined us. Hello, Joanne. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday. Nice to see you here. Hey, black don't crack, writes Victoria. You better believe it, Vicky. Black don't crack. Black don't crack. Black. You're so right, Vicky. Don't look anywhere close to our ages. Black beauty, yes. Black beauty personified, 100%. Black is beautiful because black is beauty. Absolutely, Victoria. Thank you very much for that. Facts. We must celebrate even the small wins, writes Victoria. Yes, you have to. Have to. Instead of all this worry and nervousness and panic and da 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 da, celebrate. Let's do positive things. I'm not trying to be this, surfacey kind of person. I'm saying this with some substance and some real sincerity. We have to celebrate the small and large things. And I would love for us to spend time on a Substack Live emphasizing the things that we can do that are positive, that can make a difference, rather than everything that's going wrong. I get that we need to be aware of what the problems are, but we've also got to face them and fix them and change this bloody country that we're living in. We've got to change this place, transform it. And each of us has a stake in that. So I just want to remind you of that again. Gail Howell, hello to you. Coach, writes Victoria, love me some Mike Brown. Yeah, Mike Brown high-fived me at the parade. I've got a freeze frame of it when he's about to come to me next. I'll post that freeze frame. I think I've done it before. I'll show off some more after this and do this. Thank you, Jason. Take care and be well. Thank you very much indeed. Check your voter registration status and location, writes Victoria. Yes. I spent the first part of this live talking about how important that is to do. Hello. Hi, Omar, writes Gail. Gail, hello. Hi to you. It's nice to see you here. Let me get to point number 2 out of 2 here. So the second point and final point I want to make is this one. We have, it's really 2 points. First of all, the WNBA is an organization that the NBA controls, National Basketball Association. The WNBA, of course, is the Women's National Basketball Association. And we've seen, and we're in the middle of that season now, great things going on in the WNBA, right? But we've had a couple of incidents lately where black women who are on these WNBA teams, and there's been incidents forever. This is not the first time you've heard of this. Racist incidents where you have white fans going online or in person and saying racist things to these black women who are on these basketball teams in the WNBA. And I'm here to say, and I'm here to support the sisters, Chelsea Gray of the Las Vegas Sparks, the Las Vegas Aces. The LA Sparks is a different team. The Las Vegas Aces, who are currently the NBA champions, they were champions last year, who got some racist messages sent to her from somebody who claimed to be an Indiana Fever fan just the other day, just about 4 or 5 days ago, sent some racist message to her. Enough of this stuff. Chelsea Gray, to her credit, came out and also said, this is this crap we have to deal with, you know. And the WNBA, I think, sent out a message of support of the sister, Chelsea Gray, of the Las Vegas Aces, and also the Las Vegas Aces and the WNBA sent out messages of support. But support is very nice, but what the WNBA needs to do is to clamp down on this behavior and really make it very clear through the arenas that they work in and everything else, that if any fan does this, they need to be immediately ejected. In England, and I get it, different country, different scenarios, different sports. In England, when people make racist statements, and if it is shown on camera or proven that they've done that, they're banned for life from these arenas, mate. They're banned from stadia for life. For life. I mean, put it this way. Case, Exhibit A, or let me just say, case in point. This actually did happen in the United States. Just last month, you may have already forgotten this. I think it was game 1 of the NBA Finals in San Antonio, New York Knicks against the San Antonio Spurs. Do you remember, if you watched that game 1? And I think it was game 1. Might have been game 2, but I think it was game 1. When a fan, some idiot, ran on the court and put up his phone to take a selfie with Victor Wembanyama. Do you remember that? That actually happened. And that fan got banned for life from NBA arenas. Banned for life. If you in the NBA can ban a fan for life from entering not just the San Antonio Spurs arena, the Frost Bank Center it's called, but ban that same fan that ran onto the court during game one of the NBA Finals this year and posed for a selfie with his phone with Wembanyama. If you can ban him from San Antonio and ban him from every other arena in the NBA, the other 29, you can definitely ban a fan for saying racist things to a WNBA player from all of the arenas. Now, I get it. Online, it might be a bit more difficult, but you can still track them down, right? But if they're at the game, certainly, and they are banning and they're saying racist things to these sisters who are playing the game, they need to be banned for life. They need to be banned for life. That's what I'm saying. And I support these sisters. You know, the NBA, the men's basketball, the NBA season's come to a close. And while I'm still celebrating that, right, I think it's very important to stand up and stand up with these sisters and support them and send them notes of, look, I'm with you, I'm sorry, but I'm with you, and stamp out this stuff and challenge these folks. Chelsea Gray of the Las Vegas Aces shouldn't have to be dealing with this. None of us should as black people. None of us shouldn't be dealing with this BS. And something happened also the other day, literally a day or two ago. Angel Reese. Those of you who know Angel Reese, who've heard of Angel Reese, she used to play, I believe, for the Chicago Sky. Now she plays for the Atlanta Dream. Now, on Friday night, I think in Atlanta or wherever it was, the Atlanta Dream played the Toronto Tempo. And the head coach of the Toronto Tempo is Sandy Brondello. Now, Sandy Brondello used to be, she's a white woman. She used to be the head coach of the NBA, the WNBA team, the New York Liberty, under whose tutelage they won a WNBA championship in 2024. She was the head coach at the time. She got fired in September of last year from the Liberty, and now she's the head coach of the Toronto Tempo. Now, there was a foul called in that game on Friday, I believe it was, between the Tempo and the Atlanta Dream. And Angel Reese of the Atlanta Dream may have committed a foul or something, or I didn't see the exact play, but the account that I read on the Associated Press said that there was a problem that the head coach of the Tempo, Sandy Brondello, the white female head coach, had with the referee apparently not calling what Sandy Brondello thought was a foul against Angel Reese, who's the sister, who is a very talented sister. She's been really one of the great players in the game. And so she shouted to the referee in earshot of a number of people, including some of the Atlanta Dream players. What is Angel Reese, a protected species? Calling that out to the officials, saying you should be calling a foul on her. Now, to say what is Angel Reese, is she a protected species, is a racist thing. And if you're not sure why, I want you to think about why that is actually racist, because it is. Think about it. And then you may see people going, oh, well, she's from Australia, and Sandy Brondello is from Australia, but that doesn't make a goddamn bit of difference. Oh, in Australia, they say things like protected species all the time when it comes to making calls on sports. I'm sorry, we're not in Australia, mate. We're in the United States, or we're in North America, whether you're in Toronto, you're in North America. And I'm sorry, you've lived in New York, in LA, or excuse me, you lived in the United States forever. Sandy Brondello is not ignorant to history of black women. And then she put out an apology talking about, oh, yeah, black women have made this sport what it is, and I've played alongside and I've competed against and I've managed and coached with and against black women, and I needed to respect them more. And fine, the apology is good, but what are you going to do going forward? Now, the WNBA suspended her for one game, the head coach of the Toronto Temper. But like I've said before, whenever a white person commits an act of racism against black people, there are always people out here, whether they're white or whether they're bots or whether they're trolls, who make excuses for that racist behavior by that white person. Like I've read in comments, and comment sections are never great things to read. Oh, well, in Australia, she was right. She should have said, like, dude, no. No, open your eyes and read a book and go and do some internet research, and you will find that the eugenics movement was not limited to just the United States or to Germany or to Europe. It was in Australia too. So, folks, please, let's let's not act as if this is something that is permitted. Stop trampling on black lives. To anyone that this applies to, stop trampling on black lives and stop making excuses for racist white people who do these kinds of things. Same thing with what happened in February at the BAFTAs. BBC chooses to air the racist stuff that someone who has Tourette's says. And then you've got my man, Delroy Lindo, up there. And I forget who the other brother was. Maybe Michael B. Jordan. I forget who it was who was up there with him. And all that. And everybody, a lot of people taking the side of the guy who had the Tourette's. Oh, and starting to talk about his condition. But wait a minute. There's an injury here that happened to these two brothers up on that stage. There's an injury here that happened to black folk. No one's addressing that, but they're all talking about, see, again, do not trample on our lives. We're not going to have it. We're not. So I wanted to make that point. And again, the WNBA needs to do a lot more. I think that this head coach should have got more than one game. Okay, she apologized. Fine, that's good that she did. And if you read her apology, I think it is a decent apology. But the bottom line is that what are you going to do going forward? What are you going to do going forward? That's what really counts, right? She didn't write something like "I'm sorry if I offended you" because that's the worst. That's a non-apology. But stop trampling black lives. We're not going to allow you to do that, and we're not going to allow you to keep making excuses for why you, if you're white and racist, can keep just saying any old racist BS. In fact, yesterday I was walking around here in San Francisco. I haven't really told anybody this, but yesterday I was doing a long walk in San Francisco, and I turned around and I heard someone say that word beginning with N. Seriously, say yesterday morning here. And I'm looking around, where the hell did that come from? I wasn't hearing things. They said this, whoever it was. And I turned around, couldn't find anybody. Who was it? Didn't see anybody. And then about a minute and a half later, I turned around. There was some white guy with three big dogs walking around. I don't know if it was him, but somebody said it. Somebody saw me. Somebody said it. So one thing we have to just put to rest, or certainly just tamp down on and just completely obliterate, is people who make these excuses for the white people who are racist, saying these things about black people. Sandy Brondello is from Australia. Australia is one of the most racist places on the planet. If you think Argentina's bad, lots of places are racist on this planet. Go to Australia. It's racist and it's sexist as hell there. So again, people need to course correct and start to really examine their behaviors and do better. You are a head coach of a WNBA team that has black players on it, black women on it. And even if you didn't have any black women on your team in Toronto, you have to freaking well be better. We all have to be better at things that we are falling short on. And Sandy Brondello needs to be better about that. So I wanted to just mention that. Let me read out your comments before I go. Victoria says, love the WNBA hoopsters. These ladies are the truth. Racists love the voice Trump has given them. The commissioners of the USA Sports need to get as serious about punishing writes Victoria. Any fan that verbally or otherwise abuses the players, staff, or other fans with their disgusting, hateful behavior. 100% there. I absolutely agree with you, Victoria. Learner Curious writes, Angel Reese is an LSU standout. She sure is. And a champion. She sure is. Thank you for that, Learner Curious, as well. I think LSU, didn't they win it? They did win a championship one year with Angel Reese on it, I think. Yes, Angel Reese played for my hometown and my current town. What the hell? WTH, writes Victoria. Yeah, true story, Annabelle. She absolutely said the word protected species. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sandy Brondello knew what she was saying. In her apology, she claimed, Annabelle and everyone else watching, that, oh, it was just, I was upset at the officials, but I directed my anger and my ire toward Angel Reese. Well, no, dude, if you're angry at the officials, why aren't you directing your anger at them? Why are you targeting Angel Reese? See, here's the bullshit, right? This is the bullshit, right? This particular white woman, who is a head coach of a team called the Toronto Tempo, is telling you that, oh, in her apology, see, there's always a tell, right? There's a great film from 1987 called House of Games, and I wrote about this film a little bit last week. And there's a scene in there about the tell, Tell, the tell. So there's always a tell in human behavior, in yours, in mine, and everybody's, right? And so in this case, with this apology from Sandy Brondello, which otherwise was not a terrible apology. God, that's a low bar these days, But she says during the apology, I was directing my ire and anger and frustration at, I really, I was angry at the officials, but I was directing my anger. I used you, Angel Reese, as, who I was aiming at. Like, why do you have to aim at the black woman? Hey, come on now. No, be honest with yourself, Sandy. You were aiming at the black woman because that was what was on your heart. That was in your heart. People say things that are on their heart, whether it's in the heat of anger or not, whether they've had a few to drink or not. Whatever is on their heart is going to come out. So it's not just, oh, I was drinking and I just couldn't control my. That's what you've already been thinking and feeling about a certain person or about a certain thing forever before you ever chugged that alcohol down your throat. Before you ever got angry at a so-called angry at an official of the WNBA. That's on your heart. That's how you feel about black people. That's how you feel about black women. Come on, folks. Why would that even come out of your mouth? If you didn't feel a certain way or think a certain way about black people, or particularly in this case about black women, that wouldn't have come out of your mouth. It wouldn't have come out of your mouth at all. And I can go through a million examples of this with people. The Oakland A's a few years ago, there was a white broadcaster on there who said N live on the air. And then he tried to apologize for it, and then he really didn't. It was a non-apology. Then he got fired, thank goodness. So I'm saying all this thing because this stuff's really real. And black women in 2026 should never have to be facing all of this. I'm not naive, though, about white racism and white people who continue to perpetuate and perpetrate it every day in this world, and particularly here in the United States. I'm not naive to that, and no other black person is either. Some of the nasty, low down, hateful shit that these white folks do is racist as ass. Especially here in San Francisco and lots of other places. I've been to the deep south and been treated a lot better than people than here in San Francisco. No joke, man. I'm not saying that for effect. It's facts. My lived experience as a human being. And there's lots of other black people who can attest to this every day of the week in any place, but particularly here. Trump syndrome manifesting again, writes Victoria. Yeah, and Victoria adds, fuck that. Yeah, 100%, Victoria. And I would say though, Um, and I think you know this, Victoria, as well, obviously. But I know what you're saying, Victoria. This has been going on, and you know this, obviously, well before Donald Trump. Um, White people who do this have been doing this forever. And Trump is just another byproduct of who a lot of these people really are. Because most white men and most white women who voted all three times, they all voted for him in the majority. The majority of the white men and white women who voted in 2016, 2020, and 2024 voted for Donald Trump. So he is a manifestation of who they are. And this has been going on for centuries. And I'm with you, Victoria, though. I hear what you're saying, and I hear what you're saying. It's really racism manifesting. That's really what it really is. And I know that you know that. And I think everybody in here has that idea. But yeah, this stuff happens every day. And these WNBA players, these sisters, it's not about the money. It's about treating people with decency. Because I can see somebody now going, well, it's because they've got money, they can suck it up. Dude, injuries are injuries, right? It doesn't matter. Put it this way. If someone gets hurt, if someone commits violence against someone else, if someone rapes somebody else, right? That's an act of violence. Does it matter if the person who is raped has got millions of dollars or not? Does it matter? Of course it doesn't. But people are stupid that way. They're just some really dumbass people out here. But there's some also great people out here too. And let's focus more on them because that's what I really want to do. But I wanted to say these things because these things are really important. It's about how we treat each other, how we, as I said earlier, be more positive towards each other. Let's be a bit more humane, okay? You know, why are you going to be at a WNBA game cursing out Angel Reese? Or why are you going to be at a WNBA game as a head coach, a white head coach, and you're freaking well calling Angel Reese a protected species? What the hell is wrong with you? Why can't you be more like someone like a Paige Beckers, who this past week said that we need to have more black women as head coaches in the WNBA? Huh? Say why. Why can't you be more like her? Why can't a majority of the white population in this place be more like Paige Beckers, a white female WNBA player who, I don't know if she was asked the question or if she volunteered it. Doesn't really matter. She is someone who I can do business with because she knows what time it is. I think she has black people in her family. Um, but still, there are people who have black people, there are white people who have black people in their family, and they really wish they didn't, right? And they act like a bunch of the racist asses that they are. But people like Paige Beckers, I can really do business with people like that. I like people like that, right? Because she's using her platform and also her white privilege and using it in an affirmative way. So, we've seen this so often with the sisters coming in to the WNBA, sisters in college basketball. Remember all the stuff that happened a few months ago with the head coach of the South Carolina team, the team that lost in the final eventually, the women's team, the Gamecocks, and how Dawn Staley, who's the black head coach of that team, how she was being treated with disrespect by the white male University of Connecticut head coach Gene Auriemma. Remember that? Happened only a few months ago. Happened in this calendar year, folks. This is a catalog of incidents. And it happens every day on a daily basis to black folk everywhere. But I'm just pointing to these sports and challenging these organizations to actually do a damn sight better job of respecting black women and of also handing out punishments, real punishments, to anyone, particularly those white racists who are out here playing the ass and doing all this bullshit. WNBA needs to stamp this stuff out and get real with it. And I can go into Caitlin Clark and all that BS with these stupid Republicans. That's unfocused for another day. I'm talking about standing up and standing with these sisters out here who made the game what it is. If you didn't have black women in this sport, your WNBA would be shit. You need to respect and you need to stand up for and create a protective and safe environment for these black women who are playing in the WNBA. Period. Full stop. Period. Full stop. Trying to clean it up after the fact to save her job, writes Victoria. So I've heard, she adds, as Victoria writes. I always wanted to go until I heard about the racism in Australia. Australia's horrible. Oh my God, man. The racism in that place. Phew, boy. Kate Blanchett, by the way, Victoria, and everyone else watching, a few years ago, probably about more than 10, 15 years ago now, Kate Blanchett, who's basically the Australia's darling, you know. And let's not forget the history of Australia, folks, and how they treated black people there, the so-called Aborigines, the black folk who were there before the white people came along and did what they did, the evil shit that they did. Go study Australia history, folks. Kate Blanchett, the white female actor, I'm sure you know who Kate Blanchett is, made a statement probably about 15 to 20 years ago now, where she came out strongly against racism and said, this is what we need to do. We have to end all this stuff, da 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 da. White people have to continue to challenge other white people to be better human beings, and to be anti-racists. And so whether you have a platform or whether you don't, whether you're Kate Blanchett or not, whether you're Kate Blanchett, Paige Beckers, whomever, you, if you're watching and you're white, you have a responsibility to open your mouth and say something and do something. The doing is in challenging your white neighbors and your inner circle, right? The saying is the standing up and saying something against this. But the doing is to challenge other white people in your realm. Very important. U.S. has an equality of ignorance, right? Learner curious. Yeah, listen, there's a lot of ignorance to go around. I'll put it that way. And I'll say that to you. Patricia has joined, Jamo has joined, Valencia has joined. Hello there. Exactly. Same with Mr. Tourette's. Exactly, Victoria. As I said this earlier, and Victoria said this. Made this comment earlier. Yeah. Whenever a white person is doing some racist shit, there's always someone out there, whether they're white, whether they're a bot, whether they're a troll, who makes excuses for them when it's against black people. When black people are suffering that injury, is always someone always is out there to justify that kind of this racist attack against the black person that's done by a white person. And there's some black people that do this too. Not many, but one or two. Right? There's always an excuse for why somehow trying to justify that kind of behavior. It's pitiful. Hello, Edie. Edie Frankenfield has joined. Edie, thank you very much for your support on England. Yeah, it was great yesterday. I didn't watch the game, really didn't care to. I was never going to watch a third place game, but I did see the highlights. And listen, that's a very good result from them. Thank you, Edie. Tammy Betcher has joined. And Victoria writes, oh, for sure, it has been going on before this country was born in the diaspora. Yes, it has been. Amy writes, and hello, Amy Charmerick. Thank you. I'm sorry. Chamernick. Pardon me. Third time I get that right. Amy Chamerick. Chamernick. Oh, Christ. Sorry. Amy, I'm sorry for butchering your last name. Chamernick. I think got it right. That's better. Amy Charmenick, thank you very much for your comment I'm about to read. She is replaceable. And we need to demand better of the people. And she's speaking, when she says she, Amy is referring to Sandy Brondello. We need to demand better of the people who hold these positions in every sport and industry. Aren't there good coaches who don't hold racist beliefs, who would jump at the opportunity? Question mark. Even if not, it's completely unacceptable. Amy continues, and she should be shunned. Amy, I'm with you 110%. And I think a one-game ban for Sandy Brondello is not nearly enough. It's not. I really think, Amy, that at least a 5-game ban and a fine. I don't know whether she was fined or not. I would be fining her. I'd fine her $100,000, and I guess it would be a drop in the bucket. But this shit would stop pretty bloody quick if you start finding people lots of money. And I get it, she probably makes a certain salary. Maybe it's not nearly as much as the male head coaches in either the WNBA or the NBA. But Amy, I agree with you. She should be shunned. She should be fined at least $100,000. If I was and I forget the name, I think it's Kathy Engelbrecht, who is the current white female, who is the current commissioner of the WNBA. And believe me, there's a lot of stuff she's done that I don't like. And some of the black female players involved in collective bargaining agreements and having conversations around that in the off season before this had really tangled with her. Kathy Engelbrecht has got to do better. Okay, and I'd like to see a new WNBA commissioner, and let it be a black woman for God's sakes. Okay, you know, a conscious black woman who knows what she's about, and let's set it straight. We've never had a black commissioner of any. I don't think we had a black commissioner of the NBA, let alone the WNBA. And granted, the WNBA has been around for about 30 years or just under 30 years, whatever it is. I went to the WNBA games. I've been to WNBA games. I watched WNBA. I went to the WNBA finals at Madison Square Garden many years ago, about 30 years ago now, almost. 1999 to be precise, I think it was. But we need to have these changes, and we need to have a stronger response to this stuff. A 5-game suspension, $100,000 fine. Okay? That sends a message to me. Now, maybe you'd advocate for a punishment more severe than that. I think if you suspend that head coach 5 games and $100,000 fine, I think that's a good start. And then if it happens again, then you suspend him for a lot longer and you fine him a lot more. And if it happens a third time, you're gone. We have to have deterrence in place. And I think it's very, very important. They don't get paid, and Victoria says this a few minutes ago. She writes, they don't get paid nearly as much as the fellas. Absolutely, they don't. The sexism is rife as well. It's not even equitable, comparable to NBA salaries and bonuses. And the thing is, as I said earlier, Victoria, you're absolutely right. I agree with you 110%. The NBA runs the WNBA. And so the NBA is the one that finances and determines how much finance goes to them. So the NBA has got to step up too. They have to step up as well. 100%. Why can't we have more WNBA games on TV? Question mark. Writes Leonard Curious. Yeah, that would be that's a great question. We do have some CBS. I saw CBS News Net, CBS Network, Sports Network had one on yesterday. CBS had one on. I think Ion TV does. But I agree, Leonard Curious. There's not nearly enough, and all these bargaining agreements that get done for the NBA. You've got the NBA everywhere, right? You've got the NBA on NBA TV. You've got the NBA on ABC and ESPN. You've got the NBA on NBC. You've got the NBA on Prime. Ugh, can't stand. I do not watch Prime. I don't deal with anything at Amazon. So you've got the WNBA everywhere, right? I think you may even have it on Netflix at some point soon, or maybe not. But we need to have WNBA everywhere. It's a sport that's growing. It's more popular now than it was 20 or 25 years ago or so. And it's getting good attendances. It is. It is. And there's great personalities in the sport. There's some excellent competitors in the sport, great players. The Angel Reeses of the world I've just mentioned. I will now mention Aja Wilson and I mean, there's so many people I could talk about. I'm a big fan of the WNBA. I watch probably 2 games a week, which is not that much. I mean, I don't have a lot of time to watch lots of games and lots of things in general, but definitely, I do make an appointment of viewing. I watched the game last night between the New York Liberty, who got pounded by the Indiana Fever, unfortunately. But yeah, I watch the NBA WNBA, excuse me, pretty regularly. So yeah, we need to have more of these on TV. I agree, Leonard Curious, who continues. Baton Rouge would welcome Angel Reese home anytime. Respect for Paige Beckers. Yes, Victoria. 100% daily occurrence. This happens every day to us. Danielle Moody will make a good coach. Just say, Learner Curious. Maybe you should ask her. Would she like to coach the Toronto Tempo, or maybe some coach team inside the United States instead of in Canada? You should ask her, Learner Curious. But I hear you. Um, I forgot about the Aborigines. Damn. Yeah, I said that we talked about this obviously earlier. This comment was made earlier by Victoria. Yeah, the Aborigines, as they are called, black people in Australia. See, the thing is, See, all the people, and I'm going to try to wind things down before 1 o'clock Pacific Eastern time, excuse me, in the next 10 minutes. All the people, all the bots and trolls, and they are just that, who make the explanation, oh, well, you shouldn't have apologized, Sandy. Like, these people forget conveniently what white Australians or white people who commandeered, that's not even, that I shouldn't even make that the word, invaded Australia and killed black people who native land or whose native area was there, or the so-called the original folk who were there, right? See, people act like Sandy Brondella doesn't know about that history. She's Australian. She's a white female Australian. So you're going to tell me that, she really meant, see, all this explaining away of racist white behavior when it comes to that behavior being thrown at a black person or a black woman specifically. Now you've got some of you out there got excuses for the behavior. But the one thing you don't mention in your comments, in your stupid comments, in your ignorance and your racism is Australia has a racist ass history, and it's a racist country. And what it did to the black people who were here before the white Australian or the white people came to Australia and invaded it. Oh, okay, yeah, you're going to pretend that didn't happen. And you're going to pretend that Sandy Brondello, who's born in 1968, somehow doesn't have any idea of that history in her own country of Australia. Yeah, okay. Oh, boy. JMO, formerly known as Jeannie. Long story. Good morning, Omar. JMO, hello to you. Thank you very much. It's so great to see you, JMO. Thank you. Good morning. And yeah, Justice Clarence, Uncle Tom Thomas, yeah. Or as I say, Uncle Clarence. You know what, Victoria, what's interesting is about that term, Uncle Tom. A lot of people don't know this. Uncle Tom was actually the hero in the Harriet Beecher Stowe novel, Uncle Tom's Cabin. And Uncle Tom is written as a hero because he refuses to give up the location of the runaway enslaved black people in that novel. A lot of people don't realize that. And I apologize if you had any technical difficulties right now. I'm going to close this down in a few moments. But a lot of people do not realize that. So we use Uncle Tom as a pejorative when in fact, if you read the novel, I've got it here somewhere, not on this particular bookshelf, but it may be one of the other bookshelves. If you read the novel, I'll have to bring it out next time, and I'll direct you to the pages at some point. If you read the novel Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe, last name S as in Sam, Towe, you will see that Uncle Tom was a hero. And he was a hero to black people. He was actually a hero. That character, Uncle Tom, not a real life person, but he was a character, right? And he was written as a hero. And in the book, he refuses to tell the white enslaver where the locations of those runaway black enslaved people are. He refuses to tell them. So Uncle Tom is actually a hero. But I'm just saying, uh, just in case you didn't know that, Victoria, um, I call him Uncle Clarence. He's despicable. You can watch WNBA games on YouTube, writes Luis. Debbie B, hello to you. Thank you for joining. Australia, basically apartheid state. Yeah, that's very true, Annabelle. In many respects, it is. By the way, and by the way, their prime minister there, Anthony Albanese, had to apologize to a white woman because he said something on a podcast that was deemed to be very sexist. I didn't hear what it was, so I can't talk about it because I have to go research it. But yeah, apartheid state, sexist, it's racist as hell. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, period. Stop the damn excuses, writes Victoria, for these micro and macro racist ass aggressions. 100% Victoria. And people need to call that out. I've seen it on chats. I've seen it everywhere. people, we were talking, I think there was a conversation Don Lemon was having about black fathers showing up more than anybody else. Throughout all these studies, there are all these studies out here that show that black men show up for their kids more than any type of other type of father, whether they're Latino fathers, white fathers, Asian, that black men show up for their kids most. And so I said that this is an important fact to remember, as Don said, that black men are there for their children. And then what happens within the minute of me saying that in the chat? Someone, presumably white, or presumably just a damn ass troll, says, oh, there's lots of fathers that show up for their children. And I said, and I was thinking, and then I said, I was thinking in my head, motherfucker window, man. There's always someone in here who wants to try to tamp down on black joy and black success and black accomplishment. Fuck you. That was what was going on in my head. And then I wrote in a more refined way. Don was talking specifically about black fathers. So we have to be specific around black fathers because black fathers are often demonized and racist stereotyped as if they somehow don't care about their kids. And that shut the person up because then there was a black woman also who backed up what I said and said, yeah, there's always people in here trying to stamp out and trample and some marginalize black life, which is true, whether they're bots or whether they're real people. And I'm not having it. And nor is Victoria, which is really great. Wow, I didn't know that about Uncle Tom, writes Victoria. Yeah, that is a true thing, folks. I will get, and I have the book here, it's on another bookshelf. I'll get the book and I will show you the passage where Uncle Tom is being asked by these white enslavers to give up the location of some black people, enslaved black people who ran away. And he refuses to do it. And he pays for that refusal, but he refuses to do it. So then my question becomes, folks, how in the good living hell of fuck did Uncle Tom go from being this figure in a book who was heroic to being a pejorative? How did that happen and who did that? And every time I see someone write Uncle Tom in the chat, or say it personally or directly to me, not to me personally, but say it in my ambit, I correct them. And I know no one's going to go read Uncle Tom's Cabin unless you've read it. If you've read it, then you know what I'm talking about. Amy writes, and thank you, Amy. Amy Charmanik writes, yes, huge fines and a decently long suspension works, I guess, a one-time reprieve, if I can read that properly or say it properly. But it's one and done for me, writes Amy. Head coaches, industry executives, etc., set a tone for a team or organization. How can there be any tolerance for racism? Question mark. Would we tolerate a little, writes Amy in quotes, physical attack? Question mark. Then why allow this? Because it's also, Amy continues, a form of violence? Question mark. In the WNBA especially, but anywhere. Thank you, Amy. 110% with you. It's a very good statement that you make. I agree. We should not tolerate this at all. I agree there should be a no tolerance policy. Yeah, so you go further than I do. I'd be endorsed to rewrite my earlier declaration here, Amy, and join you. One and done. I mean, if in England they can ban a fan for saying racist shit immediately upon clear evidence of it, then yeah, they should get rid of these head. Why not? Why should the head coaches escape that? In Liverpool in England last season in the Premier League, there was a guy in a wheelchair, white male, right, who said something racist to a player from a team called Bournemouth. The player's name is Antoine Semenyo. He now plays for Manchester City. Black man, used to play for Bournemouth, and last August, there was a white man in a wheelchair during the opening game of the season on a Friday night. Liverpool went on to win the game. That doesn't really matter. But the Liverpool fan, white man, in a wheelchair, shouts some racist stuff to the black player from the opposition team. The opposition player made a note to the referee, Then the club, Liverpool, got involved because it was at their stadium. And they ended up banning the guy. And he's actually now, he's been charged with racial, racist aggravation or whatever the offenses were in England, in Liverpool. And he, I think, was either given a sentence for this, and he's banned from Liverpool. He's banned from attending any Liverpool game. So whether you're someone who has disabilities or not, you can still be racist, right? You can still, it didn't stop you from saying racist shit to black people. And Liverpool Football Club did the right thing, banned him for life. And he was a season ticket holder, banned him for life. No, we don't want your money here. So, Amy, I'm with you. If they can do this in England, one and done, then why shouldn't Sandy Brondello get the hook and not be able to coach, not just that team, but any team? If the WNBA and Commissioner Kathy Engelbrecht decided to put that kind of punishment on, I guarantee you a lot of these white head coaches in the WNBA or anywhere else would think twice before uttering the racist bullshit that's in their heads and on their hearts. Well, now I don't know what to call Clarence Thomas, Annabelle. After I explained about the Uncle Tom thing, there's millions of things to call Clarence. Come on, Annabelle. You can find, there's a lot. I know one right now that I don't want to say. Excuse me. Got to drink some more water. There's a lot of them. One of them I really don't want to say because it then I'm so tempted to say it, but I'm not going to because I call him this, but not online. There's lots of things to call him. Annabelle, there's no shortage of names. No, so we can't call no Justice Clarence Trader Thomas Uncle Tom anymore. Well, I mean, maybe you might still want to call him that, but the fact is that Uncle Tom is actually a positive character. But for some reason, Victoria, as I said earlier, there are people who, for some reason, that's changed. Some people have turned that into, oh, he's a negative. He was a freaking hero. So unless you want to call Uncle Thomas. Maybe you call him Uncle Thomas. But if you want to call him Uncle, you'd be calling him a hero. I mean, albeit Uncle Tom is fictitious, right? Again, Harriet Beecher Stowe wrote the novel Uncle Tom's Cabin, and I mean, God knows how many years ago. But Uncle Tom is a hero in that book. That's where the word comes from. That's where the term comes from. It comes from that book. But people have changed. Somehow it got changed to something negative. That interesting. I didn't know about the Uncle Tom character, right? Dave from California. I remember that comment, Omar. Go on. White people did that. Twisted up. Yes. And we're following them. Why? Why is Victoria, why are we as black people doing that? And I know there's the obvious enslavement mind, the conditioning, the slave post enslavement trauma, which Dr. Joy Degree has written about. And I can give away that book too. In one of the giveaways for paid subscribers. Yeah, why are we as black people, some of us doing that? Why are some of us as black people trying to remake words that are really evil? There's no glory in doing that. I don't get that. We are a great people. Our history speaks for itself. Why are we reinventing white people's words that are racist? Why are we doing that? Why are a small percentage of us? Why are some of us doing that? I have no idea, Victoria. I don't know what the answer to that is. Gotta go. Love you all. Love to you all, Annabelle. Listen, I'm going to get going here too now because I've gone past the time I promised. Brittany Chanel, hello to you. Say it, Omar, says Victoria. Thank you very much indeed. Trader Thomas writes JMO. Our ignorance. Yeah, there's lots of it going around, folks. A lot of things we don't, listen, we don't know everything. None of us does, right? But, there is a lot of ignorance in lots of other places, and we all can learn. I can learn. You can learn. We all can learn. None of us knows everything, right? It's just that when we do know something and we see that someone else does not, I think it is our duty to correct them. I mean, you don't want to correct every single, you'll be here all day with some people, but if you do know something and you know that what someone's saying is not true, especially in this day and age, please correct them. And cite the source too, where you got it from, so that if they care to look, they can do so. Because people really don't have time to look or don't care to want to, but they really should. And we need to be much more critical thinking minded and more thought process oriented, if I can say that, because this technology has short circuited a lot of that. This AI and this texting has short circuited a lot of that. I'll read out these comments and then I'm going to run. I'll be back, of course, after the World Cup final today. Yes, Omar writes, Amy Charmanik, don't let her coach or even attend the games, a full ban. And if that makes other coaches nervous, well, there's no reason, writes Amy, to be nervous unless your instinct is to sometimes reach for that egregious language. So go, hire black coaches and it won't happen. Amy Charmanik, thank you very much indeed. And I'm going to have do a better job on pronouncing your last name later on. I promise next time after the World Cup final, I will not get your name wrong. And I'm sorry that I did. I will do better. Amy, thank you very much. Amy Chamanik, thank you very much for that comment. I agree. We have to start having no tolerance for this racist bullshit and stop giving excuses out to those white people out there who say racist shit about black folks. Stop giving them excuses. No grace allowed. Fuck that. I'm done with that stuff. No more black folk trying to explain away shit. Because there's some black people that do that, but it's really white people who are doing this, right? Stop doing that stuff. You know it's wrong. Stop defending the indefensible. Period. Thank you, Omar. Peace and love. Renee Howell, thank you. Thank you, Omar writes, Lerner. You are a new lesson in truth and transparency. Lerner Curious, thank you. Luis Gonzalez, thanks. Omar, hello. Thank you again, Luis, for joining and spending your precious time here. I got to read the book, and the first book you recommended, what was it again? My goodness gracious me. I recommended a number of books, didn't I? Well, I told you about these two books, Victoria, that I'm giving away to paid subscribers. That back when in August begins, you will see me here with giveaways for paid subscribers. So please become one. To you generally, everyone, and also Regime Change. Those are book giveaways coming in the future next month. There was another book, I forgot what it was. I'm sorry that I don't remember, Victoria. Gosh, you'll have to go rewind this, won't you? Sorry. Renee Howell, thank you, Omar. Peace and love. I'm with you on everything too. Amy Chamanik, thank you very much indeed. She's with everything on Victoria as well. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone. You too, Amy. Take care. Thank you, Omar. Thank you for always keeping it real, Omar. Love your truth. Victoria, thank you. I love that you're here. And thank you for your affirmations and for your abiding support, Victoria. Keep coming back, and I'll keep thanking you for that and for who you are as a person. Great to see you. Victoria, one of the sparkling jewels here. It's great to see you all. Thank you very much. Those black hearts are greatly appreciated too, as are the red ones. Go Spain! Viva España! Viva España! Luis Gonzalez, thank you. Take care, everyone. About Haiti. Oh, thank you. The book, Victoria, thank you for reminding me because I forgot. The book I recommended earlier is called The Black Jacobins. Last name, last word of that three-word title, Jacobins. Jacobins by C.L.R. James. The author, C.L.R., last name James. The title of the book is The Black Jacobins. I want to thank you all for being here. Please keep the family of Nolan Xavier Wells in your prayers. Please donate to the family of Nolan Xavier Wells' GoFundMe page, okay? And please speak up and speak out about brother Nolan Wells. Please, Nolan Xavier Wells. You know who the brother is. His funeral is tomorrow, starts at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And I think it's going to be live streamed. They're having a visitation before that begins at 9 a.m. Eastern. Okay, I just want to remind people of this as you leave. Please, please keep spreading the word about wanting to get to the bottom of his death because I think it's suspicious as hell. Please keep that family in your prayers. And Christine Warnsley is on Instagram. I think it's Christine.fm or something like that. You can search her. She's on there. And send her some positive love and support. And please donate to the official GoFundMe page of Nolan Xavier Wells. Thank you, everyone. R.I.P. Nolan. Prayers for his family. 100% Victoria. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the World Cup final. Spain versus Argentina, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern is when it starts, either on Telemundo here in the US or on Fox Sports. Viva España! I'll see you after the final later today. Thank you very much, folks. Take care. And please have a plan to vote.